So, maybe we can have everyone like mute themselves unless they have a question, so that you have a good recording to listen to. So welcome guys to Entities and You. Thank you so much Vijay for having me on. I am extremely honored to be here and talking about my favorite topic, so I'm really grateful. So where do we begin, Vijay? Is there any question right at the top of your head, or do you want me to just start talking?
One question I have is like, what is the difference between ghost, entity, and walk-ins?
Okay, so walk-ins is a whole different topic which we generally talk about in Foundation and in the Talk to the Entities. But let me take your first question. What are entities? Let's just say, what are entities? So everybody over here has a little idea of what entities are, right? So if all of you will just like use the chat and just type in what you think is entities, I'd love to hear what your point of view is about entities. What are entities for you guys? I'll tell you what entities are, but what are entities for you? Hi Meenal, happy belated birthday. Cool.
Thanks, Sangeeta.
Hi. Who's that behind you?
Entity?
New boyfriend? I was going to ask if it's a new boyfriend, but awesome.
Old boyfriend going new.
Hey, Jyoti! Oh my God! Hi. Good to see you too. I'm seeing everybody after such a long time. Cool. Let me see on the chat. What is everybody saying? Anything that occupies space is an entity. Entities are without bodies. A soul is an entity. And we have beautiful beings without bodies, some form of free-floating energy, and spiritual guides. All are right. None of the answers are wrong. Everything that you said is correct. Entities is by definition from the dictionary, entity is anything that has a definition and has a consciousness of its own. So by that definition, everything is an entity. You are an entity. I am an entity. The earth is an entity. Nature is an entity. However, the entities that we're going to talk about today are entities that are beings without bodies, mainly, because that's the introduction that I'm sure all of you are here for right now. And of course, I am a Access Consciousness facilitator and a Talk to the Entities facilitator. There are also a couple of other classes that I do, but this is the one that I would like to talk to you about because this is the one that actually changed so much for my life. And what I learned in the Talk to the Entities class became like a tool that sort of not helped me deal with just beings without bodies, but also people. Because the class is structured in a manner that once you have more ease with those beings, you also start having a lot of ease with people in your own life, which is why I love that class. Anyway, back to what are entities. So yeah, entities are beings without bodies. But they are not what you think they are. Just because they died does not make them all spiritual, does not make them all enlightened, does not make them all bright and shiny. No, mostly entities take with them whatever their essence was here. Like if they were an angry person, mostly when they die, they still remain angry, even as a quote unquote, what you call spirits. Okay? If an entity is if a being is generally confused in a body, when they die, they take that confusion with them. If they have been dominating in life, generally they take that with them, and as a spirit, they could be dominating as well. So I have another. Yeah, so yes, even your homes are entities, businesses are entities, cars are entities, and entities are accumulated thoughts in this lifetime or previous lifetimes. Yes, your point of views and thoughts can be entities, but for the purpose of today's conversation, we'll talk about those also a little bit, but I'd really like to talk about beings without bodies. So, or everything you've decided what beings without bodies are and what they can do or cannot do, or how scary they are, or how gross they are, or how more powerful than you they are. Can we please destroy and uncreate all of that? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shots, boys and beyonds. So Vijay, I have a question. Is everybody on this call, like, do they know a little bit of access, or do we have people who don't know access as well?
All are access people.
All are access people. Awesome. These are, oh yes, your title did say some access webinar. So great. My work gets even easier. Thank you so much for that. So great. So let's start by first, if you really want to dive deep into this, and I would really like this to be more of an interactive question. I know that the description of this call says that last 15 minutes is for questions, but I'm going to open it out because there is so much I can talk about entities. I'd love to receive questions from you, and if it is applicable for this call, I'll go ahead and answer it. Otherwise, you can always reach out to me after the call. Okay, cool. So before we jump into those questions, and I will invite you to unmute yourself, just like, I mean, either raise your hand or just type it in the chat, or let's have a format. Maybe Vijay can unmute you if you raise your hand or something, or just let me know that you have a question. Before we get into the questions, would you be willing for just this call, whatever you've decided entities are, and all your projections, expectations, conclusions, and judgments about them, can we please destroy and uncreate all of that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and poc, all nine shots, boys and beyonds. Okay, everything you've learned about entities from your elders, from storybooks, from movies, from the TV, can we please destroy and uncreate that? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shots, boys and beyonds, because all of those are highly dramatic versions of what it really is. Okay, so they're not. Now, if we have that point of view that entities will look like vampires and will look like Draculas, then by that description, whatever shows up for us, we will make it look like that because we see everything according to our filters. So all the filters you've been using up until now, that creates more fear than space with regards to entities, could you please destroy and uncreate that? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shots, boys and beyonds. Awesome, guys. And another thing that I would really, really like from all of you is, would you be willing to like really have fun with this call and have an adventure with me? And just for the purpose of this call, let's leave fear outside your screens and outside your room for now. Because if you're here, you cannot be afraid of entities. I'm sorry. If you were afraid of entities, you wouldn't have joined this call. So let's stop lying to ourselves. If you were afraid, you wouldn't have joined this call. So one thing is clear, you're not afraid. And fear is a distractor implant. If you've done bars, if you've done foundation, actually spoken more in foundation, but a distractor implant is that which takes away from what's really going on, what takes away from what will give you more of you. So if you are distracting yourself from fear and you're here, that means you have a huge capacity with entities, but you're using it against you by calling it fear. Okay, so everything that is, can we please destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shots, boys and girls. If what I said made you light, made you smile, then maybe just take a minute to sort of claim on and acknowledge that, hey, I've got a capacity with entities. Maybe you don't know what to do with it right now. That is cool. But if it's light in your universe, just acknowledging that will start to give you more space after this call. Okay? So congratulations for at least taking this 1 minute to acknowledge, even if it is for the purpose of this call, that you do have capacities with entities. So cool. Now, I'm just going to open this. What are your questions with regards to entities? Because I have so much to tell you guys. Like, it'll be a never-ending call. And unfortunately, we only have 45 minutes. So go for it, guys. I'm sure if you're here, you have questions. Even if there is no stupid question, there are only stupid people who will not ask questions. So please ask questions. Even if your question is like, if it's silly in your head, you can't, like, I can't even begin to tell you how many people have that in their head. So do them a service. Be the brave one to ask that question. Cool. Go for it. Do we have anything on the chat? Oh, Jyoti, so sweet you are. I love it that you're here for me. Thank you for having my back. Means a lot. Anyone with a question?
Yeah, I would like to ask a question.
Yeah.
So when we say that entities carry their shortcomings or positiveness to the other world, and then they influence us also. So can we say that our ancestors who have expired are entities? Does it relate to that?
I'm sorry, I lost you in the middle. Could you ask me that question again, please?
Our ancestors who have expired, does it only relate to them, or as you said, business and other things are all entities?
Yes.
And what do, when we say that our ancestors who have expired are also entities?
Yes, absolutely. They are also entities.
And like in our house, they believe
And that's a
that,
great question. In fact, yes, please go on. In your house, they believe that?
yes, like there are two entities who still have influence on our doings. They punish us when we do something wrong, and they guide us also. So do we have to fear such things? Because
Okay, awesome.
you said that their positiveness and negativeness is carried forward. So they're not in total
Yes,
rightness.
absolutely. So, but thank you so much for asking that question. I'm sorry, your screen does not say your name. Can I get your name, please?
Dhara.
Dhara, thank you so much for your question. So, like I said, entities take their essence with them, their characteristics with them, and they pass on to the other side, to the other dimension, or wherever they go. Most of them are actually stuck here. And the thing is that just because they may have had some not so great traits, when they go to the other side, they still remain the same. It's not like they become more powerful. And whether they have power over us or not, and which is why the title of this call is Entities Are Not the Problem, because it is really dependent on how we interact with them. They are never the problem. It is our point of views about them that either make them a problem or not. So if we believe that they can have power over us, if we believe that they can punish us or guide us, then that is what they would do. But my question to you is, are you an infinite being or are you a finite being? Dhara, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Like we keep on hearing that we are an infinite being. So I'm
Yes.
trying to go into that thought that we are an infinite being.
Okay, cool. So that is another great question, right? Because before access, nobody ever tells you in these many words that you're an infinite being. Everybody tells you things like this, that you should be afraid of entities, there are ancestors, you have to please them, you have to obey them. And then there are also beings that you should be worried, that you should be scared of. And then there are beings that can guide you. But what if every day you actually practice being an infinite being? Okay, and one of the ways of practicing being an infinite being is actually asking yourself that if I was being an infinite being here, what would I choose? Just asking that question will begin to open the space for you. Okay?
Yeah.
The way you allow people, and this is the great thing this is one of the most bonus things that I learned in the Talk to the Entities class and with a lot of work in Access that I did. The way we allow people to treat us is exactly how we allow entities to treat us. So what is going on in your life right now will give you a great indication of your interaction with the entity world. Which means if people can scare you, entities will be able to scare you. If people can push you around, entities will be able to push you around. But if you're one of those strong people who have a great sense of boundary, who know themselves, which is all of the access work, the more you do it, the more you get your bars run, the more you use your tools. If you are willing to be the most dominant entity in your life, there is nothing that an entity can do to you. In fact, let me give you the good news. Most entities are stuck here because they are confused, and most of them don't even know they don't have a body anymore. And the minute you ask them this question, do you know you don't have a body anymore? They tend to go, oh, and they go away. That's all it needs. That's all it needs. It's one of the most simplest clearing that I am happy to give to you. So right now, okay. Sorry guys, can I please request you to mute yourself if you're not asking a question? So right now, all of you, just get a sense of all the entities that are there around you. If you're on an entity call, guess what? All entities also come to an entity call, and they will be here because all of you are these potent beings who, if you're willing, to learn this, to have education in this, can actually assist them. So I have a few people here who just finished a Talk to the Entities class with them, with me, and I'm so grateful for their presence here, because we like blasted limitation. The first thing that we do in an entity class is get rid of your fear, get rid of your doubt, get you to start experiencing the infinite being you truly are, and then get you to do the only 3 things that you'll ever do with an entity, which is clearing them, communicating with them, and receiving them and receiving from them, and also allowing them to receive you. So 3 things: clearing, communicating, and receiving. That's all we ever do with entities. Okay, so let's do a little exercise. All of you that are here on the call, just get a sense of the entities around you, whether you believe it or not, whether you can see them or not, whether you can hear them or not, doesn't matter. Okay, just ask them all to come really close to you. I promise you, you will not die. No one's ever died on a call with me on entities. I promise nothing's going to happen to you. Okay? Everywhere you're using fear to cover up your potency, can we please destroy and uncreate that? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pork, all 9, shots, boys, and beyond. So great. Just get them to touch you. Just get them to come close to you. Awesome. Now, all of you, ask them to leave the room that you're in. All of them. Cool. Just like how you would tell someone to leave the room that you don't want in your room, just say it like that. I'm sorry, please leave. Okay, how many of you had more space? How many of you could feel more space as soon as you told them to leave? Amrita, I can see your hand. You're most welcome to unmute yourself and tell me what that experience was.
I did it with my eyes closed and I could really see the space opening up.
Fantastic, Meenal. See, it's this simple if you're willing to have it, okay? Anyone else? Thank you, Meenal. Anyone else? What was your experience? Is there anyone who like didn't feel anything? That's cool too. Doesn't matter. There's nothing wrong. Jyoti, you didn't feel anything? Cool, doesn't matter. That's okay. There's no right or wrong. Yeah. Who has a question here?
No, I just felt light when I did that exercise.
Fantastic, Rajeshwari. That's space. That's awesome. When it's light, that means that's space. Okay, so now take a minute to claim on and acknowledge for all of you who experience that space. Will you claim on and acknowledge that you do have a potency and entities will listen to you when you ask them to do something? Cool. Everything that is allowed, that can we please destroy and uncreate it all, right? Okay, now let's ask all the entities to give us more space, which means you need to expand, your being needs to expand. Just fill the room you're in, become even bigger, fill the house that you're in, become even bigger, fill the city you're in, become even bigger, fill the country you're in, the continent, the entire universe, across the skies, across the galaxies, and deep down into the earth. Expand from your front and from your back, and as soon as we say expand, you're there. 1,000 miles in all directions. Awesome. Cool. Okay. Awesome. Fantastic. How was that for all of you? Good job. Okay. Cool. Awesome, guys. That was one nice exercise, and I'm so glad that all of you were able to do it. And if there's someone who hasn't been able to do it, don't worry, just practice a little more when you get off the call. Sometimes it's just that we have so many point of views about it that it doesn't allow, our point of views are like more potent than our abilities. So please destroy and create those point of views and then do this exercise, and you'll definitely be able to experience that space. Cool. The other question that you can always ask if you sense an entity, and for everybody, sensing an entity is very different. For some people, it's an emotional experience. For some people, it's actually a physical experience. For some people, it's like as if you can hear a voice or you can smell something. Or there are a zillion entity signs. And when you do a class like Talk to the Entities, it's like, then it is like you, with those practices or those exercises we do in class, we become a little more aware of how do they show up in our world and what are those signs, okay? Cool. So just practice a little more and you'll be fine. Let me take the next question and we'll see where we can go with this. Cool. Okay, Arjun is saying there was no change. No worries. Maybe you need to just destroy and uncreate all your point of views about it. So a point of view that is like fearful or doubtful will not allow you to experience, because those are like thick barriers. Okay, so if you will just walk and pod and really relax, you want to work with entities, you have to practice relaxing. Okay, when you're like worked up, and one of the best ways to relax is to expand into space. Cool. Let me see what the next question is, and if anybody else also has a question, you can always unmute yourself and take that. And I'm just going to okay, cool. Vijay has a question. What stupidity, sorry, can I just read this? What stupidity am I using to believe that entities are a source of power? What have I judged good and bad, right and wrong about my interactions with unembodied entities? So the thing is that, okay, what is it that makes me believe I need walls, barriers, and other forms of protection? So everywhere, any of you have the same belief that you are less than and you need protection. This is where you're operating as a finite being. Will you please destroy and uncreate it all? This is why that question, would an infinite being truly need protection? Would an infinite being truly need someone else to be a source of power for them? And making an entity a source of power is one of the stupidest things to do. And I don't mean stupid as in bewakoof, but I mean stupid as in unconscious, for the simple reason that no one can do your life the way you can do life. You are the source of your life. When you give your power to someone else, then that person or that thing becomes the source of your life. So you give away all your power. And do you know the entity that you're giving the power to? What if, and this is a really, really cool one. Let's say I'm giving the source of my money. I'm making someone, an entity, the source of my money. And let's say I've decided I can't make a lot of money. So I'm going to invite an entity and tell them to make money for me. But if that entity, you don't know who that entity is. What if that entity, when they were alive, were very stupid with money or didn't have a lot of money? Guess what? You've just asked someone who really couldn't help themselves to help you. Does it really work? So you don't want to make an entity your source of power for anything, okay? You are the source of power. In fact, you want to receive contribution from entities and be a contribution to them. I get this question a lot, like, why do you do this work? Why talk to the entities? And why should someone do the talk to the entity class? Everybody has enough problems to deal with, and to also add entities to it is a little crazy. The fact is that if you have a capacity with entities, whether you want to work with them or not, they're around you. You can't escape it. Number one. Number two, when you're willing to work with them, you are a true gift to them and to the planet. Because entities are stuck here, because they're stuck in some point of view, because they are not aware that they don't have a body. Some of them are just confused. Some of them don't know that, oh my God, nobody can see them. And they keep trying to get in touch with someone who's willing to have this conversation with them. And nobody is willing because they have fear, they have doubt. And what happens? Their frustration increases. But they are still here and they are stuck and they're in energy and you can feel that. So if there are more beings without bodies on this planet than with bodies, and if their collective energy is that of confusion, of anger, guess what? The totality of the energy on earth is of confusion, of anger. When you're willing to have this conversation with them, just like the first time you came to a bars class and somebody gave you that one tool that, hey, you know what? Your point of view creates your reality. Change your point of view, you can change your reality. When you give that tool to an entity and you say, hey, you know what? You don't have a body, you don't have to be here, you can go anywhere. They're like, oh my God, thank you. And they go, boom. They don't have to be stuck. Like, did you like being stuck in your life when you didn't have the tools? How much freedom did you sense? How much space did you sense when you were given the tools? Imagine being that contribution to these beings. They are really, really grateful when you do that. And have you noticed what happened to you after you did access? Things became lighter, easier. There was nothing that you started changing a lot of things. And guess who benefited? Your family? Yes. Most of your family, friends, yeah, because it always outflows. When you do something, you become that energy. When you meet someone, they also get inspired, and people start looking at you and asking you, and maybe doing things that you're doing, or just get inspired by looking at you. or anything happens in the house, you're the one positive ray that they have. That no, when you don't get defeated. So imagine when you do that for an entity, and that entity becomes that source of light, and when they become, and they make a different choice, like that, right? So then what happens to the planet? When more conscious beings begin to occupy this planet, the vibration of this planet raises, and therefore you are a gift when you are willing to do this. And as you gift to the planet gives to you. That I wanted to put that across. So that's my invitation for anyone who's asking why do this work. Second, when you get to know, like I used to, as a child, I used to cry a lot, and I had no reason to, but I would like break out into tears for every small thing, and sometimes for nothing, and sometimes, and even as an adult, I did that a lot. Now, when I was a child, it was still brushed off, but as I started growing up and that started happening, people started saying, I am depressed. So depression could be, and I'm not saying it always is, but one of the signs of entity awareness could be depression, okay? You're not depressed, you're just aware. Everything you've made so wrong about you that you're not willing to ask, like, what am I really aware of? Can we please destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shots, boys and beyonds. Everything that you've decided is a wrongness is actually your strongness if you would just be willing to ask a question. And mostly it's an awareness you're not willing to have, okay? But nobody talks to us about this. This education, the way it's given and Talk to the Entities, not available anywhere else. Everywhere else, the fear is more prominent. That is what is propagated. You're made to feel more scared. You're made to feel more doubtful. If there's an entity, you're told to go to some Baba, you're told to go to some Pandit, you're told to do something. Whereas Talk to the Entity says, hey, here, these are the tools. If you will ask this set of questions and if you will just run this clearing, everything will be just clear. And really, till I got into the work, it was like a dream. Really? Can something be that simple? But I've been doing this for the last 6 years, and it's just gotten lighter and lighter and easier and easier and easier. And the bonus is it's also made me a lot of money. So don't dismiss it till you give it a shot, is all I'm going to say. Cool. Let me take there was someone who was asking, Anita, did you have a question? You unmuted yourself.
Yeah. Hi. Sangeeta, thank you so much for giving such a wonderful information. It lightened up my world.
You're so
my
welcome.
question is,
you're so welcome, sweetie.
How do I know if I've engaged some entities against me in my body?
Okay. How do you know? Is that your question?
How does one know that?
Against you?
Yeah.
Anita, can you just repeat your question for me? Sorry, my network is a little bad.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah. My question is...
Yes, I can hear you.
How do we know that we have engaged some entities in our bodies that are not working for us? So what clearings do we use?
You just have to ask a question. Truth, are there entities? Am I alone in my body? And if you get a no, then of course you can ask, okay, if I'm not alone, how many entities are there? And then there is a very good question. Like there's something that Gary said, which I have like, जैसे वो एक बात होती है ना, there's this saying that what we say, we tie it up at the corner of our corner of our dupattas. And I'm only saying it in English because I also have some friends from Indonesia who are on this call. We have a very great saying in India that says that if you hear something of value, tie it up to your scarf so that it's always with you. You never forget it. One of the things that Gary says is entities do not hold on to us. We hold on to entities. So one of the great questions to always ask is, what is the value of holding on to this entity? And once you clear that, you can also clear the entities. Of course, I can't possibly give you everything on this call. So, but there are like a lot of free intro on YouTube that Shannon has posted.
No, I have done intro.
Yeah,
I've done
awesome.
Intro
So you totally know how to clear entities.
Yeah,
All you need to ask is, okay, what's the value? And then just start clearing it. Okay? Cool.
Thank you, sir.
You're so
Thank you so
welcome,
much.
sweetie. You're so
Yeah.
welcome. Okay.
Hi, Sangeeta.
Hi, Jaya.
Hi. I'm a little confused actually.
Sure, please ask.
Somebody told me that there are angels around.
Yeah.
Okay, and angels help us achieve our results. If we talk to them, we do get an idea.
Yeah.
For example, some people visualize numbers, candles, or sparkles. So,
Yeah.
what's the difference between these angels and these entities? Because I'm not able to draw the line between the two.
Okay, so you know what? It's not wrong that there are beings of light. So what we in this reality call angels, they're there and they're here to assist us and work with us. Yet they are not the source of our life. So making them the source of our life is where the trouble begins. But if you're just asking for assistance, like like how in Access we ask each other for facilitations, that's great. Like if you're going to be like, hey, could you show me this? That's great. But when you go from this attitude of I don't know how to do this, you do this for me, that's where the trouble starts. Like like in real life also we ask for help, don't we?
Yes.
But more from creating ease from us, because we know that if we employ this person for help or we ask this person for help, it's going to allow us to do more of what we are already doing or make it greater. From that space, yes, these beings are totally available to you. The thing is just to, like, what we learn in the classes to basically it's the same rule. If it is light, go for it. But if it's dense, heavy, if it makes you start feeling like you're making somebody or something else the source of your power or the source of your life, then it's trouble. Okay. You want to always, the one thing you want to remember is, and it's a great clearing for all of you to start running is, what energy, space, consciousness, and choice can me and my body be to be the most dominating entity I truly be? And everything that doesn't allow that, let's destroy and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine shots, boys and beyonds. In your life. Okay, this is not about dominating everybody else. You don't have to go out there and start becoming everybody's boss. This is about being the most dominating entity in your life, which means the reins of your life are in your hand. You're not going to give it away to anybody else.
Okay. Great. Thank
awesome. You're so welcome, Mani. I'm just going to take one call.
I have a question.
Yes, sure. Please. Is your name Bhudhav?
Yeah, Preeti.
Preeti, just
I'm
one second.
Preeti.
I'm just looking at one question on the chat so that nothing is missed, and then I'll get back to you. Okay.
Sure.
So Helen Tan is asking, can I know whether we can communicate with entities at the same time that we are doing other works at the same time? Because I find it hard to receive the message that the entity is communicating. Okay, cool. I got your question, Helen. Basically, you're asking. Sorry, can I just mute you, Preeti, for 2 minutes till I answer this question, please? Cool, thank you. So Helen's question is, can we do communication with entities while we're doing other work? And she finds it a little hard to receive communication. So Helen, actually you're a multitasking infinite being. You can do 10 things at one time. However, with every choice that you make, you have to ask, okay, is this honoring of me and honoring of them? Let's say you're on this call with me and you're doing 10 things and you miss out on something that I'm saying. Well, you can always listen to a recording. So you can always have a repeated conversation with them where you can give them 5 minutes of your time. When you are present with someone, your energy changes their space and their energy changes your space, and it's a gifting and a receiving. So the same thing that you would be doing with doing 10 things might take a little longer. I'm not saying always. If you get good at multitasking, you can probably do 10, you can communicate with 10 things at one time. But just ask this question, okay, how much presence does this require? And what if it is just like the 2 minutes of presence where you'll just get it instantly? Try it, okay? And if you find that entities are coming to you at all times, and if you've done a talk to the entity class, maybe you need to ask them to come to you at your business hours. If you haven't done a talk to the entity class, please get yourself to one. That's all I'm going to say. Okay?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for
You're
answering
welcome,
that.
Helen. I hope.
Yeah, actually, I want to ask, right, because for example, actually, normally for the business hour, do we need to have a very long time for them, or is just taking a 5 or 10 minutes for them for business hour like that?
Helen, it's totally your choice. Whatever will create greater for you. You can start with 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. If you're really enjoying it, go up to 30 minutes, an hour. It's totally yours. This is your life. You get to decide how much time you want to spend doing this. Okay? So you don't have to worry about it. You can do it every day. You can do it once a week. And the idea is, have you ever noticed, and this is for everybody, have you noticed that when you are willing to be totally present with something, how
Exactly, $50 Devi Day.
I'm sorry, can I please
point
ask
is,
everybody to
it's a
mute?
share of pocket issue. कोई बंदा तुम्हारे पास फिर और कोई क्लास नहीं करेगा. अब ये
Someone
स्वाति
with
ने भी, she turned out that she
Vijay,
didn't say
can
anything about the
can
foundation,
you
but I know
mute
she was planning to do
Ochre
the
Tree?
foundation this time, but now she's very clear कि मैं तो पैसे बचाती हूँ साइड की करूँ.
I'm sorry, someone from Ochre Tree, can you please mute yourself because I can hear your whole conversation and it's getting recorded. Okay. Vijay, you might have to mute Ochre Tree because I can't. So cool. So what I want to say is, have you ever noticed that when you're being when you are totally present with someone, how quickly things shift? Even like, okay, are any of you like facilitating people as well? Are any of you like doing this, like doing access and facilitating friends, family, clients? Have you noticed how present you are? Have you noticed how present you are when you're facilitating them? What if you were that present when you're doing everything in your life? So everywhere you stop being present once the facilitation is done or once the class is done, and you go back to how you were, can you please destroy and uncreate it all? What if this was about being present in every moment of your life? Everything that doesn't allow that, can you please destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, bad, all 9 shots, boys and beyond. Awesome. Cool. So Jaya, you had a question? Who had a question? I'm sorry.
I had Sangeeta. I'm Preeti here.
Yeah, Preeti. Please go on.
Yeah. So I have 2 questions. In fact,
Yeah.
the first is just 1 minute. Yeah. That if entities are contributing to our life, why do we require to clear them?
So there are 3 things you'll ever do with entities: clearing, communicating, and receiving.
Okay.
If it is an entity that's contributing, then you'll receive from them. It is you don't have to clear all entities.
Okay.
Only those that are asking for it. Okay.
So it's receiving, communicating, and clearing.
And clearing, yeah.
Okay. Second question is that all the Devi and the Devtas that we have, like the Devi like Lakshmi, Saraswati, Kali,
yes.
And the Devtas, like this is what I've heard, that every place, a sthan, there's a sthan Devta, there is a Gram Devta, there is a Kshetrapal Devta. So all these are entities. We would call them entities.
Yes, they are entities, and they require to be handled very differently. And also from now on, now that you do access, not just with entities, whenever you hear something and whenever you say something, just notice whether it's light for you or it's heavy for you. When you said they are entities, it was very light because they are entities. But like in Talk to the Entities, we also learn different kind of entities that are there, and each different kind of entity has a different way of being dealt with it. So but I can give you a little bit of information, but you'll have to then explore on your own the rest of it. Is these entities, if you notice, like Lakshmi is the goddess of money, right?
Yeah.
Which is also an energy. So these are what is called as elementals. Okay, they are part of the earth. They represent an element of the earth. And and how do we play with that? Just like how you would play with all energies. Receive.
So what is elementals?
Elementals are elementals are elements of the earth. Anything to do with the earth is elements. Like death is also an element of earth, right? Life is an element of earth. Nature is an element of earth. Air is an element of earth. Water is an element of earth. Gold is an element of earth. Yeah, anything of the earth is an element of the earth. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. You're so welcome. You're so welcome. Just looking through the chat if there is any other question that I can take on. Yes, I want to take Jyoti's question. So if someone is hearing voices, is it entities or paranoia? So there's one very clear sign, and I'd love to share this with you guys. When we are talking to ourselves, all of us talk to ourselves. All of us have a noise in our head. Constantly our mind is talking to us. There's this voice in our head. When you are talking to yourself, you will always talk to yourself in first person, which means I will say, I should do this, I should go here, I shouldn't have done that, oh God, that was not a great decision I took. But if you hear, you shouldn't have done it, that was a really bad thing you did, you could have done a better job, that is a clear sign of entities. Yes, Arjun.
Yeah, I tend to talk myself in the third person. What's that about?
So do you say you, or do you just take your name? Do you say Arjun, or do you say say you?
Well, when I'm going into the wrongness of me, I do talk to myself. And Arjun, you should not have done this. Then what?
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question.
Am I being possessed?
Well, being possessed is a very dramatized way of saying that you're just aware of a lot of entities and you could have housed them in your body, but unless you're giving them control, you're not possessed. Okay? Cool. So I want to ask a question to you. So, truth. Are you highly aware of entities around you?
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. How does it get any better than this and what else is possible? So the next time you hear, you should have done that, Arjun, that was not a nice thing to do, especially when you're going into the wrongness of you, you're going to go like, shut up and back off. If I was truly being me, what would I choose here? Okay? They are just like people, guys. Okay? If you don't allow people to push you over, you will not allow entities to push you over. So any point of view that you have, the only reason you will allow them to push you over is because you've decided just because you can't see them, you can't hear them, they're mysterious, they're scary, they're greater than you, or any movie that you watched as a kid that kind of implied that. Could you please destroy and uncreate all of that? All the implants and explants that keeps you from making entities greater than you. Can we please destroy and uncreate it all, guys? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POC, all 9, shots, boys, and beyonds. Okay? So, and that made you smile. So, it's a great sign that you have massive capacity. Okay? So, what happens when we don't claim or acknowledge our capacities is that we start using it against us. It's the same amount of energy, but instead of shh, we're doing and we get hit because we're not willing to. If you have a capacity, the natural way is to contribute. It has to go out. But if you're not going to own it and you're not going to, use it, then you're going to hit yourself with it. This then gets locked up. It's called, it's a way of hoarding our capacities and then they hurt us. So everything that is, can we please destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POC, all 9, shots, boys, and beyonds. So all of the hoarding you guys are doing, not just with your capacity, with entities, with your capacity and potencies, with anything, be it money, be it bodies, be it relationships, be it magic. Would you be willing to destroy and uncreate all of that, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all 9, shots, boys, and beyonds. And don't worry, you don't need to know how. You just have to say yes and be willing, and then the universe will back you up and get you to like places where you can learn more about it, get you to people who can talk to you more about this, and you will receive the information. And by the way, Access, one of the most generous places. If you will just go to YouTube and you will just Google Shannon's videos, it will open up so much for you guys. Okay, just feel free, just like any topic that you have a question about, go to YouTube, Access Consciousness, put that title there and you will find it. And if all else fails, ask the universe, okay, universe, where can I get more information about this? Okay, because the problem is not that you don't know, the problem is you're just missing some information. So begin to ask the universe for that information. Okay, cool. Awesome. How does it get any better than this and what else is possible? Okay, guys, I'm really sorry, but I'm up the minute and I know this is a very wide topic. So I did offer Vijay to do a part 2 with me whenever we can, maybe in the next coming week or something. And I'll be very happy to take on more questions. Until then, if this call is inspired, you please reach out to any Talk to the Entity facilitator. We have national facilitators, international facilitators. We have Shannon facilitating these classes. And right now, during quarantine, everything is online. So please make use of it. Sit in the comfort of your homes and take this ability further. And even if you don't want to go to a class, just acknowledging to yourself today that, oh, it's a capacity I have will start opening doors for you. Okay? And just pocket pot all the fear, all the doubt, because those are the things that don't allow you to claim on and acknowledge your capacities. Okay? Cool, guys. I'm really sorry I have another call. I totally loved being here. Thank you, Vijay. Thank you, everybody. I'm sorry if I didn't get to your question. Maybe we can do this next time. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Bye. Good night.
Bye. Good night.